Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a different kind of video because we are focusing on Vinland Saga in anime rather than Dark Souls. But don't worry, we are still involving the Lord nonetheless. So let's talk about, in specific, Priest Willibald. He is a minor character in the first season, but leaves an impact on Canute when they have the talk about love. We see his role as being Canute's priest, and his addiction to alcohol before never being seen or mentioned after the first season, even in the manga. But what I really want to talk about today is his philosophy with love when talking to Canute. Quick disclaimer before we start. I am not trying to compare the priest to Jesus, or trying to say that Jesus said exactly what he says. I am just trying to relate the two. Anyways, let's get into it. Willibald's philosophy at first confuses Canute, as it did me too. He says how the love for your dad, or the love we have for our dogs or cats, are flawed. We mostly confuse love with lust or attachment. This human love we have is often conditional, and we may only love people for the benefit of ourselves. Why are you attached to your girlfriend or partner? Is it because they often treat you horribly? Or is it because they treat your lust for sex? See, our human love isn't true love. We see this in 1 John 2:16, which says, "For all that is in the worldly desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes and pride of life is not from the Father but is from the world." This verse shows us how the desires of our flesh are usually driven by our lust or pride. So what is true love? Willibald speaks, saying how true love is unconditional, selfless, and directed towards everyone, not just friends and family, but your greatest enemies too. You can't earn this love or lose it. It can only be freely given and must reflect the love God has for us, and not any other kind of love. We see this in 1 Corinthians 13:4-5, which says, "Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful." This shows with perspective how love isn't self-seeking but self-giving. Another verse is Matthew 5:44-45, which says, "But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven." Again, love should extend to all, even those who persecute you or in all their power try to harm you. This philosophy plants a seed in the story, which grows with Thorfinn later as he practices loving his enemies. So how do we, as Christians, practice this true love? First, we must practice getting love from our Father first, through prayer and worship and obedience, so we can keep ourselves rooted in God's love to extend it outward to others. If you need help, Matthew 22:37 is great. Next, we must love without conditions. Love isn't deserved. We must love all, even those who we think are undeserving. In Romans 5:8, it says, "But God shows his love for us, in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." So practice kindness and forgiveness to everyone, even those who won't return the favor. Finally, love in action and in humility. Don't watch this video and forget. Remember to put this into action or you won't see any change in yourself. Love isn't keeping it inside, it is spreading it around through action. John 3:18 says, "Little children, let us not love in word or talk, but in deed and in truth." This helps us to love in action. We must also love in humility. We must put others above ourselves and not be selfish with our kindness. We must not be prideful in our love, but instead strive for humbleness. Serve without recognition. We don't need to be celebrated for every good actions because the Lord will see them and reward us. So my brothers and sisters, thanks for joining me for another video, and let us practice our love.